Okay, good evening, members. Pooja ma'am, shall we start? You're on mute, Pooja ma'am.
Yeah, we can start.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. BBF has again come up with the webinar on Retail Algo. And today we will be discussing with our member basically about the gist of the SEBI circular, types of algo registration with the client direct API, and process follow for empanelment and registration. And to discuss the same, we have a team from BSE Business Operations. We have Mr. Vinod Ibrahim Purkar, Ms. Pooja Raikar, and the other team members will be presenting today, followed by the Q&A session where all the members and all the participants can raise the virtual hands, and you can basically ask questions. So with this, we can start with the presentation. So over to you, ma'am and team.
Hi, good evening, everyone. This is Vinod Ibrahim Purkar, and we have articulated the gist of the SEBI circular on safer participation of retail investor in algorithmic trading. Just to highlight on the current scenario, I mean, the members provide open APIs to algo providers like the fintech firms, vendors, individual investors. The algo providers use these APIs to route orders from their clients to the respective brokers. Members actually do not identify such orders as algo, non-algo orders, and further route the orders to the exchange trading system. Exchanges processes and execute these orders, but are unable to identify if the orders are algo or non-algo. Few of the important responsibilities that has been highlighted in the way algo provider, member, and exchange. Starting with algo providers, they shall undertake empanelment with the exchanges before connecting through API services of the members. They need to ensure that their algo orders routed via APIs are tagged with unique identifier, which is provided by the exchange. Members need to ensure that all algos are only from empaneled algo providers and registered with the exchanges. They need not allow open APIs and allow access only through unique vendor client specific API key, which needs to be whitelisted by the brokers. Also, be solely responsible for handling investor complaints. Yeah, I'm just highlighting few of the important points from the SEBI circular, not taking into the entire stuff in it. The exchange shall have the ability to use kill switch for orders routed with particular algo ID in case of any malfunction. The exchange has specified tag basically for retail client, which is like API registration has to be completed within T+7 days, the strategy registration by T+10 days. Further, the algo strategies has been categorized as white box and a black box, where everyone knows, I mean, white box is a disclosed one and replicable, like the execution algos. Black box are basically not replicable. And in that scenario, which the algo providers shall register with exchange as research analyst and maintain detailed research report. If you can see, I mean, there are multiple circulars being issued by SEBI and exchanges, where we have the publication standards regarding to the implementation standards. Then we have the SOP, then the detailed operational modalities. We had further issued circular on the corrigendum relating to revised algo provider, which there was a revision made to the annexures. Then there was the circular on extension of timelines. Then we issued circular on kill switch mechanism and the submission of, this is something crucial one, where the submission of details of existing clients using algorithmic trading platform. This was to be submitted by the members
by October 31st.
By October 31st.
So
They have to ask. They have to submit.
Yes, members have to submit this. So, I mean, whoever has not submitted, I mean, I request them to submit it as early as possible. I will hand over to Ms. Pooja Raikar for the further demonstration of the process flow.
If you have any questions at this stage, you can. Later. Yeah. I request the members to ask any questions at any point in time during the presentation. So for the first part, if you have any questions right now, you can ask us. Would that work, Eunice, or you want to have questions later
No,
on?
sir, it will work. So we request all our members, they can raise their virtual hand, so we can allow them to ask questions if they have any questions at this point of time.
Okay, so should we proceed?
Yeah.
Okay, Pooja.
Is it visible? Process flow?
Yes, ma'am.
So here is the process flow which define how an algo provider, an independent software vendor, and a trading member can approach to the exchange for registration of API and UI, further strategist registration in the defined framework. So first is a category of non-retail client and retail clients. So for non-retail client registration, the registration is same what we are doing currently. There is no change in the process. If the member or a fintech is coming under a retail client, then they first has to identify whether the registration is for client direct API or without client direct API. For without client direct API registration, the registration is same what current process is. There is no change in the process.
Stop here. This is very important point, ladies and gentlemen, that you have to understand that this circular, this entire session that we are having is meant only for retail algos wherein the orders are routed through direct APIs provided by either the algo service providers or the brokers. All the retail algos which do not fall under this category do not undergo any kind of change. I hope this one thing is very clear, because we have received a lot of queries over the last many months that I have been providing retail algo services to many of my clients, but I don't use any API facility. So would I be liable to be following the regulations under this particular set of circulars? Answer is no. So if you have any doubt on this, maybe you can ask this question, because if this is not clear, rest of the stuff will not hold any meaning.
Sir, there is a question in the chat box. Where will we find the set of documents required for registration and process flow?
Yeah, so we'll come to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So documentation checklist and draft documentation is available on BSE India website. Under members, the path is member, information of members. In information of members, the section is download. Under download, the point number is 1.9 trading operations. In therein, we have placed the checklist and draft documentation for retail algo registration.
After this session, we will send you the link as well. Hello, is that okay?
Yes, we can proceed further.
Okay.
Okay, so for journey of client direct API, so whoever who wants to register for client direct API, the fintechs, whenever they are coming to the exchange, has to submit documentation as algo provider undertaking, that is annexure 1. Criteria for empanelment of algo providers, that is annexure 2. Application for empanelment as algo provider, annexure 3. Audit certificate, annexure 4. Product write-up and RMS write-up. This is the set of documents wherein an algo provider can approach to the exchange for UI registration. Once the documentation are in line with the requirement, exchange will conduct a demo for the product and user interface. After the demo is concluded, and exchange will give the unique vendor code to the algo provider. When the algo provider is ready with the strategies, they can further approach to the exchange with RMS write-up, strategy write-up in case of white box algo, audit certificate, RA registration in case of black box algo. So these are the list of documents for strategy registration. In case of algo provider, the two type of approaches they can come with UI or else UI plus algo, both registration algo provider can approach to the exchange. Our second category is
idea kya hai, see here the idea is that at the time of approaching the exchange for any kind of registration, it's possible that you're ready with the skeletal product, the front end solution you have, but you may not be ready with the algo strategies. So you don't really have to wait for the algo strategies to be ready to approach the exchange. The first part, where it refers to note number A, empanelment of user interface or product. So if your front end, if your look and feel is ready, you can approach the exchange. Exchange will at least start the process to start giving you the vendor code. And as and when you are ready with the algo strategies, you can approach on the second part, that is registration of the algo product. You can provide all the documents as listed there and be ready with providing the service to your clients.
Yeah. So second category is of independent software vendor, that is vendor empanelment. The registered vendor with the exchange can approach for API registration of their existing product and algo strategy registration. So here it is in two parts. For API registration, the documentation required is product write-up, RMS write-up, and auditor certificate, that is Annexure 5. For algo registration, the required documents are RMS write-up, strategy write-up, auditor certificate, and RA certificate in case of black box algo. Moving forward to the third category is of trading member. So under trading member, we have 4 different categories, different sections wherein a trading member can approach to the exchange for the registration. So first type is registration of client direct API, that is the API developed by trading member. Required documents are undertaking, product and RMS write-up, audit certificate, that is Annexure 7, and system audit for API. System audit for API will be covered in product write-up too, or if it is given differently, we are okay. Second category is in-house algo, that is client direct API provided by member across mode of trading. Documentation required for same is audit report, Annexure 6, audit certificate, Annexure 7, strategy write-up in case of white box, RMS write-up, and member RA registration certificate in case of black box algo. If a member is giving any black box strategy, then member has to register as a RA with the exchange, and then the black box strategy can be registered with the exchange. Upon this registration, member exchange will provide a unique algo ID to the member, which is identifier of client direct API.
Any questions so far, Jonas?
Yeah, so there are few questions in the chat box, but we encourage members to raise the virtual hand and ask questions directly with the from the speakers to ensure the proper clarity on their queries. So if so, we request everyone to raise the virtual hand and speak directly with their queries. Members can please raise the virtual hand and ask questions directly.
Okay.
Okay, sir. There is a question from Tapas Nayak. You may unmute yourself and ask your query.
Hello,
Yes.
am I audible to you?
Yes.
Yes.
See, what is the basic difference between open API and member client direct API?
See, open APIs are what you have been providing all this while, wherein there is no authentication, there is no registration with the exchange. Now, client API, you can say that you are registering the same API with the exchange. The exchange is aware that you have got some API business going on between the member and the client. So registration process is being adopted in this particular scenario, and it is known to the exchange that business is flowing through an API between broker and the client.
Okay, got it. My second query is why it is not possible to apply the API registration as well as the algo registration simultaneously?
You can do that.
No, some exchanges are not allowing it. There is a waterfall model. First of all, you have to apply for API registrations. Once your API registrations get approved, then only you have to apply for the algo registrations. So in this process, it is taking a lot of time. Actually, in pen and paper, there is the TAT is around 7 days, but we are waiting from last 15 days to get the status of our API registrations.
I agree with you.
In other exchange.
I agree with you. In case you're ready with the API as well as the algo strategies, please apply, and we will sequence it out at our end, wherein we will not ask you to approach the exchange in a serial manner. If you're ready with, let's say, entire set of parameters like API, the algo strategy, and the product, you can approach the exchange as a package application. We will sequence it out at our end so that you don't have to keep on approaching the exchange one by one.
Okay, great. And the third one is, as a trading member, I have NSE and BSE. So if I am providing some algo in NSE and BSE and MCX, it's including the algo. The nature of algo is, it's including NSE, BSE, and MCX. Some assets are there in NSE, some asset classes in BSE, and some asset classes in MCX. Multi asset kind of strategy. So in that case, we have to take approval from 3 different exchanges.
Yes.
So we should have a single platforms where we can, because see, all the 3 exchanges, NSE, BSE, MCX, they come under the purview of SEBI. So taking approval from 3 different exchanges in the same time, it is time taking. So can you have that kind of facility? This is a question to BBF. So if it will be there, then it will greatly helpful for us.
I take your point, sir, but at this point in time, we don't have that combination facility available. Each of the exchange will have to follow their own compliance rules, and the auditor's certificate is supposed to be provided to each of the exchange separately. So at this point in time, it is not possible. Going forward, yes, we take point of your concern, and we'll work on it. We'll talk to the MIS, we'll talk to the regulator. In future, if it is possible, definitely it should be made available to you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so the next question is from Mr. Prem Kumar. You may unmute yourself and ask your query. Yeah, Mr. Prem Kumar. Prem Kumarji, you may ask your query. You are unmute already.
Are you able to hear, sir?
Yes, please.
Sir, few questions, sir. Whether open APIs will be allowed if static API is registered?
Whether open APIs will be allowed once that API is registered?
No, sir. Open APIs, if they are not, any kind of API which is not registered with the exchange, will not be allowed, irrespective of whatever is the combination, static IP or not. So as we said in the opening paragraph itself of the presentation, brokers cannot use open APIs. All APIs are supposed to be registered with the exchange.
Okay, sir. Suppose if the client uses algo trade strategy through the vendor, does vendor need to register with the exchange or through the member, sir?
Yes, sir. There are 3 participants in this entire activity: the client, the algo provider, and the trading member. Right? So
yes,
all
sir.
3 entities are supposed to be known to the exchange.
Okay. So, but registration is through the member only, right now, sir?
Sorry?
Yes, the decision is through member only.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Sir, if order per second below 10, then also it needs to be registered the algo strategy, sir.
I will come to that. That part is just about tech-savvy client. We'll cover that in just a short while.
Then last question, so till 31st March they provided the time. Till that time, the open APIs can be allowed, sir, to use.
Sir, as per the last circular of SEBI, they have clearly defined the milestones that all market participants supposed to achieve by October 31st. At least one strategies was supposed to be, applied for at the exchange. By November 30, few strategies supposed to be approved by the exchange. And by Jan 3, in the compliance mock of Jan, all members are supposed to test out their algo strategies with client direct API. That means all formalities, all administrative processes with respect to registration should be complete. And by April 1, 2026, everything is going to be mandatory. So SEBI has already a lot of time. What is supposed to be taken note of is that by Jan 3rd, if you are not actually participating in the mock session by registering and testing out all your strategies with client direct API, then you will not be able to add any more clients in the existing set of business. That is without client with client direct API not registered with the exchange.
Okay, sir.
So I urge all the members to start following these milestones diligently. Please take it seriously. And frankly, we have not received much of application by October 31st for registration of the algo strategy. But November 30th is another landmark. Please cover up the backlog, apply for strategy registration at the exchange, so that you don't lose out on business later on.
Okay, sir. Shall we take the next question?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so next we have Centrum Broking. You may unmute yourself and ask a query, please.
Hello, sir. When you say that only a registered APIs are allowed to trade or allowed to place orders, what do you mean by registered APIs or APIs registered with the exchange?
You are when you provide API services, you're supposed to inform the exchange with the relevant set of documents, as Pooja just explained a short while ago. What are the parameters of those APIs, and make it known to the exchange that you are having an API and you are going to connect to your client to that API.
And once we have actually registered the APIs as with the exchange, then we can provide these APIs to our tech-savvy clients.
Yes, you can.
In that case, static IP registration would be also be mandatory.
Static IP registration is mandatory, sir.
And my another question is, when we say that the brokers are the principal members and all the algos must be hosted on the broker servers,
Yeah.
if I have, let's say, 5,000 clients, do I actually have to purchase 5,000 servers and then host all the 5,000 algos for each algo per client?
I mean, you can have a server which can take care of multiple algos. And I'm sure when you have 5,000 algos, 5,000 clients, you will have adequate infrastructure at your end to manage that.
Okay, so thank you.
Okay, so next, Mr. Yogesh, you may unmute yourself and ask your question. Yeah, Yogesh ji.
Whether this applies to any of our existing algo approvals that we've taken.
Sorry?
The existing
I didn't get your question, sir.
So is this applicable to any of our existing algo approvals?
As I said in the beginning of this flowchart, if you're not using client direct APIs to connect your client for algo trading purpose, then you don't have to come to the exchange for registration all over again. So if you're providing, let's say, retail algo without any API on your internet services or on your third-party software like Odin or Wixop or whatever, but they don't use API, then you don't have to come to the exchange again.
All right. And if right now it's only applicable for IBT
clients, or it's applicable for our general dealer IDs also?
STWT and ETA.
Everything.
No, it is applicable only for retail clients which are in IBT and STWT.
Okay. And is it applicable for DMA?
No, in DMA,
DMA anyway is for institutions, right?
institution clients, right? So it is not applicable for DMA.
Okay. So DMA algo is allowed or it's not allowed yet?
See, DMA algo is allowed, but it is a different process which is without client direct API. What we are currently following the same. Okay? So it is not covered in this. Only IBT, STWT, and ETI based product API developed is
Sir,
covered in this.
If you look at the trading member block at the top, where the cursor is pointing right now, it says ETI, IBT, STWT. STWT is basically mobile trading.
Correct. All
So
right.
DMA is meant for institutional clients, so doesn't fall in the purview of this particular process.
All right. Thanks.
Yunus, can we move ahead, please?
Sir, we have few more raised hands, so whatever you say, sir.
What I suggest is this flow, let us just complete because some of the questions are preempting the rest of the flow. So let's cover the flow and then we can take all the questions.
Done, sir. No problem. Done. Yeah.
Yeah, so moving ahead to the third category, that is under trading member, is empaneled vendor, that is ISV or a algo provider registered strategy, and member coming with the same strategy registration to the exchange. So in this category, the required documents are auditor report, that is Annexure 6, auditor certificate, Annexure 7, vendor confirmation letter, strategy write-up in case of white box, RMS write-up, empanelment RA registration certificate in case of black box algo. So empanelment vendor RA registration is required if member is seeking approval of a black box strategy which is registered by empaneled vendor or an algo provider with the exchange. In this case, the RA certificate will be required of algo provider or empaneled vendor. The last category under trading member is of tech-savvy clients. So here in tech-savvy clients, if the strategy strategy orders are above 10 OPS, then the registration is required. Below 10 OPS, the registration is not required, but the tagging while placing the order, the location ID tagging should be generic client direct API, that is 444. And algo ID tagging should be 16-digit 9 while placing the order. And for above 10 OPS, the registration is required. Documentation for registration is auditor certificate, that is Annexure 7, strategy write-up, and RMS write-up. On registration of strategy, exchange shall provide the unique algo ID.
We can take questions now, Yunus.
Okay, sir. So we have another question from Vineet Prajapati ji. You may unmute yourself, please. Vineet ji, your question, please.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. Hello, sir. I got clarity, but still have one more doubt. Let's say if I were on going my web trading platform, which is an IBT, and I want to provide an algo, retail algo there. So as per this, currently what I've understood is we don't have to come to the exchange for any sort of approval, right?
If you're not using APIs, then you don't have to.
So can I start providing on this platform? Can I continue providing algo services to my customers without seeking any sort of approval? Is that what I understood?
I mean, the algo will be provided through IBT front end, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if the IBT product is registered with the exchange, then you have to come for feature addition approval.
Okay.
Because whatever IBT approval the exchange has provided you is the non-algo platform.
Okay.
When you wish to provide algo with IBT front end, then feature addition for your approved product has to be done. And then you can take strategy registration under client direct API and you can further process with the trading.
Okay, so now what I have to do is I have to come to you for a feature addition process under IBT. Once that gets approved, then I have to apply for an algo ID strategy registration, right?
Yes. And while placing the order, the tagging will be different. Whatever currently tagging you are doing is under non-algo for IBT.
Yes.
So we have exchange has came with a new tagging for this retail investors in
Okay.
algorithmic trading, that is 444. So in for IBT with algo, the order should be tagged with generic client direct API location code.
Generic client ID means for 16 times 9, right?
No.
No.
Just a minute.
We'll share that page with you. Just hold on.
No worry, no worry.
Direct API.
Should I proceed with my next question, sir?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So this is one where I just still need a clarity on algo ID watch to be passed in case of IBT algo. Secondly, let's say I have a vendor who is already done an empanelment with the exchange as an algo provider. He has got an empanelment done. So do I need to disclose this also to exchange that me and the ex vendor in accordance with the ex vendor is going to provide an algo to my client? Or once it is gets approved, it is just between me and the vendor to get ourselves on a simple agreement done between both of us and can get a strategy approval and can proceed. So how it is, like, this is what a second question of mine. I
No,
hope
come
my
again.
I am as a member. I have an empaneled vendor who is already empaneled with the exchange as an algo platform provider. Okay. So if I wish to offer my clients any algo services through that vendor's platform, right, who is already empaneled, done the empanel with the exchange. So for me, it's just the only algo strategy registration which is needed, right? I don't have to come to you saying that I'm doing agreement with this particular empanelment vendor. Do I need to get approval for that?
Yes, you have to come to the exchange for those strategy registration, because once the strategies are registered with the member, exchange will provide the unique algo ID for each strategy on member level. So whatever may be the strategy, whether it is in-house, algo provider or empanel vendor strategies, member has to come to the exchange for registration for unique algo ID.
Unique algo ID. Okay, so I don't need to come to exchange about my agreement with the empanelment vendor, right? It is me between me and the empanel vendor, right?
Your
Yes,
agreement
yes, yes.
between the vendors are not to be submitted, right?
Correct. Thanks.
Right.
Now, my third question is with respect to the tech-savvy customers. When you say tech-savvy clients, which is say below 10 OPS, you already very well mentioned that below 10 OPS, no registration required. Tag has already been explained by you, and above 10 OPS, I need to get the algo strategy registration. My only question here is, how do I disclose the tech-savvy client to an exchange that this particular client belongs to a tech-savvy category? Is there any process where do I need to notify to the exchange that this particular client does is a tech-savvy client, belongs under this particular process?
See, whether the client is tech-savvy client or not, that you have to identify first. And while registering to the exchange, the details will be captured in the application form. Therein you can mention the details of a tech-savvy client, and you can process for the
Vinny, just to clarify on that. See what if you go back, can you go back to the flowchart, please? See, flowchart says that if you have a tech-savvy client who's going to give you OPS more than 10, right?
Right.
Because you know that. So when you allow a tech-savvy client to start providing algo to the exchange, algo orders to the exchange, and you have a discussion with him, and he says कि मेरा OPS 10 से ज़्यादा होगा, so you know, as a broker, as a vendor, you know that this case has to be registered with the exchange, right? You look at the tech-savvy client block. Can you see the screen, please?
No, it's not shared yet, sir. Yes.
Now it's clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you notice the last block, tech-savvy client, it says if OPS is more than 10, then there are some docs which are required to be submitted to the exchange.
Agreed.
So here we are assuming, that broker, the vendor, and the client will do the self-regulation part and submit the document to the exchange so that our exchange can provide you the algo ID. Now, if you know that this client is not going to give you OPS of 10 or more, and it's going to be less than 10, registration is not required. Fine.
Correct.
And we are saying generic algo ID is supposed to be all nines and location code, all ports, and so on and so forth. Now your question could be, what if this guy who earlier told me that OPS is going to be less than 10 suddenly starts giving you algo orders flow with OPS more than 10, and you're not registered? Point is that OPS will be known to the exchange. So the question will be to the member and the vendor as to how this tech-savvy client who had not given a registration has started giving you an OPS of more than 10.
Correct.
So due diligence has to be followed. You need to have some kind of a paperwork done between all parties concerned at your end so that everyone is actually following the rules.
So, sorry to interrupt. My question was just with respect to the circular that NSE has circulated in the detailed modalities, where they mentioned such tech-savvy client should be disclosed to the exchange. So that is where my initial question was: is there any process where do I need to disclose a tech-savvy this particular client belongs to a tech-savvy category? Or
just question: if we're saying that tech-savvy client less than 10 OPS is not required to be registered with the exchange, and we're interested in you reporting all OPS more than 10 cases for a tech-savvy client. So that answers the question.
Okay.
I'm giving you a step ahead that if tech-savvy client who has not been registered with the exchange and starts giving you more than OPS of 10, right? So you need to have some kind of paperwork that it doesn't actually violate your own understanding with him.
Okay, sir. No worries. So now my last question here is, and before I submit this, this algo ID, generic algo ID, which is 16 times 9, is only in case of a tech-savvy client who is less than 10 OPS, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Right. And what about other than, let's say I have an empanelment vendor platform or my in-house development algo platform which is giving less than 10 OPS per second? In that case, do I need to send this generic algo ID, or is there any other generic algo ID need to send?
Generic algo ID is only in case of tech-savvy client who is below 10 OPS. Other than this category, whatever strategy is above 10 OPS or below 10 OPS, the registration is required and exchange will provide the unique algo ID.
Okay, clear. Thank you.
Any further question, Yunus?
Yes, ma'am. We have a question from Mr. Vineet Prajapati ji. You may unmute yourself, please.
I was the one who answered question just now, so I am done.
Okay. Sorry.
Thanks.
Okay, so we have another question from Bhavya ji. You may unmute yourself and ask query.
Yeah, hi. I wanted to understand on it's a similar question which the person asked for IBT. I wanted to, you mentioned about that we have to apply in the client direct API with the strategy. Do I have to also apply for a client direct API separately as well, if I do not have a client direct API registration?
If you have the APIs ready, you can come to the exchange for API registration. If you have the strategies along with the API, you can apply for both of them together.
Okay.
But I mean, if you don't have the APIs ready, then strategy registration का कुछ मतलब नहीं रह जाएगा उसमें.
But in the client direct API, I wanted to understand, is it an open API which we are talking about, or what? I wanted to understand the difference between that client direct API. What does it actually consist of?
I have already answered that question. Open APIs are where you are not disclosing anything to the exchange. They are not known to anyone. You have your own arrangement between the two parties. Only those two parties are aware of the APIs being used to have any kind of a communication or channel or a working order flow. When you register with the exchange about your API, the exchange is aware. So you're making your APIs known to the exchange that I'm going to use so API, with the exchange, right, for order flow. It's like if you're a vendor, I am sure you have IML vendors also here in this forum. Exchange provides APIs, right? So we provide APIs, we disclose it on the website, and we give them as a document to all our vendors and members that you have to use the contents of that API document to connect with the exchange. So both parties here, that is the exchange and the vendor and the member, are aware as to what is the language, what is the protocol that is going to be used between the two parties for all communication. So that becomes a registered API. So definition is really that you need to make your communication channel known to the exchange.
Okay. Now in this, now I'm using the same API, which I'm using it already for my mobile application. Then in that scenario, the client direct API will come into picture?
Yes. In this case, see, whatever mobile application is registered with the exchange of same mobile, the API may be developed, right?
Yeah, on the same APIs only this algo is developed, retail algo.
Correct. So in this case, you have to get registered your API with the exchange and strategies also.
Okay.
Into the clients. Yes.
Okay. And in this case, I would not get any algo ID from the exchange. In this only, I have to only take care of the algo order tagging with 444, something like that. Correct?
Once this API and once the API is registered, obviously those APIs are extended to the end clients, right? So we will come for the strategy registration. So once the strategies are registered, we will provide the algo ID for each strategy.
For each strategy?
Yes.
Okay.
Vivek sir, we focus more on the spirit of the circular rather than we are going the letter of the spirit. Problem is that every client, every strategy has to be registered.
Yes.
That is the spirit.
I mean, what Rajiv is saying is very valid, that when Vinod was making the presentation, there were a lot of statements that broker is responsible for what is happening between the broker, the algo provider, and the client. The idea behind that is broker, as a registered party with the exchange, should be responsible, should be cautious of the fact that no open APIs, nothing against the rules of the land is happening with respect to this particular trading facility. That is the only reason why we are having all of these circulars floating around, and registration is required. So in a way, it provides some sanity to all the algo providers also. They should come forward and register themselves with the exchange. The retail clients are now confident that if a particular algo provider is registered with the exchange, is genuine. The relationship between the broker and the algo provider is genuine. So they get more confident about using that facility. Yeah, Mr. Sende.
Hi, I have a basic question firstly. So in the top of the presentation, there's mentioned that with client direct API and without, and the without is the same process has to be followed. What is the difference between client direct API, retail algo with client direct API and retail algo without client direct API?
Client direct API with and without is only the difference is without client direct API is the normal algos which currently you are using, that is with your dealer and algo combination. And client direct API is the category wherein the API is extended for algo orders to the client.
Okay. So the usual approval process with the algo trading without OPS limitations is under that without client direct API.
Yes.
Okay. So further, another question I had was what exactly is covered under system audit of API? Just a brief color would be good enough.
System audit of API is the part of product write-up itself. So
Okay.
the base product you are given the front end of which the API is developed. So whatever the request and response is taken care by the API, that you can share in the system audit report of API.
Okay.
For
Okay.
different order types.
Okay. Another question that I had was, let's say that I'm a trading member and I have taken an empanel vendor for trading. Now, given this, and it's an IBT for a IBT setup, and now there are changes to the UI for this retail algo. So, do I need to file a modification request with the exchange?
Yes, I mean, you can come for the modification request with a feature addition to the exchange.
Okay. Okay. And finally, my last question is, I have an in-house software. So I'm a trading vendor and I have an in-house software for IBT again. Now I want to take empaneled algo provider algos. Is that allowed? I mean, I'll make the file a modification request and then basically follow the process. So that should be okay. If is my understanding correct?
See, in this case, first the algo provider has to register with the exchange.
Yes.
With their,
Assuming that they have registered. They have registered, so I just filed the vendor confirmation letter and I provide all the audit certificates and it gets integrated with my in-house software. So that is allowed.
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next question is from Udyanji. You may ask your query.
Yes. So I'm an algo provider. Okay. So I find a particular node that I should have this auditor certificate. Okay. So like the question is, who are the auditors that will verify and what needs to be verified? Because but obvious, I wouldn't like to disclose my logic or the code that has to be, executed. So two sub questions, like two questions basically. Who are the auditors and what needs to be disclosed to the auditors?
See, in case of algo provider, the auditor certificate, wherein in section 2, the checks are mentioned. Those checks should be tested by auditor and the evidence should be provided by the auditor.
Yeah, and your concern about revealing your algo strategy is valid, but what we're basically asking for is not to disclose your algo strategy, but certain RMS checks are supposed to be followed, checks and balances whether it has been built in the system or not. So auditors are requested to actually check those kind of things, not peep into your algo strategy.
Okay. Just to end with one particular question, uh, like who are the auditors? Okay, that is not significantly disclosed anywhere. If I want to approach an auditor that please audit my system, who should I approach to? Should I approach to the broker that please give me the official list, or can I get the list from somewhere online? Like, who are the official auditors?
Any CISA DISA auditor can audit your system and you can submit the audit certificate.
Okay, thank you.
Next, Mr. Ankit Ranawaji, you may ask your query. Yes, Ankit ji.
So if I have already added a throttle on my APIs, I am from ABML. If I have already added a throttle on my APIs for 10 seconds for on a particular order, then do I need to come to you for registering my APIs?
API registration is mandatory if you are extending those API to the clients who are placing algo orders.
You're a member?
Yeah, from Aditya Birla Money Limited.
You're providing an API,
Yeah.
and I'm assuming when you say 10, you have a tech-savvy client, and he's going to give you OPS of more than 10. Then you're supposed to.
I have already added a throttle on my APIs for more
Okay.
for less than 10 seconds.
Yeah, so if you have ensured that your OPS is not going to be more than 10, then you don't have to come for registration.
Yeah.
You have a different view?
You have to just make sure that below 10 OPS is only for tech-savvy clients.
Tech-savvy.
Other than that, if the strategy is of vendor or an in-house strategy and those are below 10 OPS, the registration is required.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I have already added a throttle for 10 seconds.
Agreed, but who is the means person who is placing the order? The strategy is of vendor, in-house strategy, or a tech-savvy client strategy?
It can be used by anyone, a tech-savvy client, anyone.
See, in case of tech-savvy, the registration is not required. If the strategy is of vendor or an in-house developed strategy, the registration is required, whether it is above 10 or below 10.
So this concession of not registering with the exchange is valid only for tech-savvy client who is a retail guy and using client direct APIs with you. So everything else that was happening should not be mixed into this particular thing. So this is an exclusive set of rules and regulations meant for retail algo with client direct API.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Param Rawal, you may ask your query.
Yes, sir. First of all, thank you so much for doing this. This gives us a lot of clarity. I wanted to ask if we have a platform where basically end retail traders can build their own strategies using our UI. So we do not give any ready-made strategies, but the end trader can build his strategies using the indicators he likes from our selection menu. And as per that, he can create his own logic and run it. So, will that be considered like in a white box, or how do we get approval for that? Because it would be every single time there would be a new combination of a strategy.
But you would have some X number of permutation combination which are possible, right?
Correct. So there are like 80 plus different indicators, and multi-leg can be used. Basically, multiple indicators can be used in a single strategy. So there are like endless combinations of that.
Yeah. Okay.
So whole our idea is that so that for a retail trader, his job becomes very easy and more streamlined. And even for like a broker, it becomes more easier to manage all the clients who want to build their own strategies.
I would like to ask you a question here, Paramji.
Yes.
You say various parameters. Those are input parameters for a background strategy to work, or you are allowing the client to develop a raw strategy by itself?
Okay, I'll explain you in this way. We have like 80 different indicators for suppose on platform. We give RSI, MACD, different indicators. Now, if a user wants to create his own logic that maybe I want to buy an overbought and oversold zone, I choose my RSI. I put buy whenever it is above 30, sell whenever it is below 70, and I set up those points, right? The end retail trader puts these, but he selects it from our UI basically. And
So,
that's how he's creating the strategy.
When the background, see, these are input parameters. So if I say the market price moves beyond a particular level X, do X, Y. If a market goes below point Y, do X and Y, right? Now, input parameters. But in the background, you have already developed a program that based upon the input parameters, you're supposed to act on it, right?
Yes.
So the backbone of the strategy remains constant, only input parameters are changing. Am I right?
Correct, sir.
So when you approach the exchange, you're going to talk about that backbone on which your input parameters are going to be applicable. So input parameters can be infinite number of them, but your strategy will be common.
Right.
So you need to approach with that underlying strategy for approval.
Okay, got it. And my second set of question is, so like, individual retail clients who are, trading below 10 OPS without like approval, they can use their own strategies, but the only requirement is of a static IP. So can these be cloud-based IP addresses like from AWS if we create an instance with a static IP each having their own? So is that allowed?
We are not restricting anything on cloud or not cloud. We are just talking about a static IP to be registered with the exchange.
Okay, got it. And just last question, that if at all clients want to try out the strategies which they have made and they want to test it out, can they use a virtual some sandbox environment to test it out?
So we have our simulation environment all the time available with BSE. You can connect and test anytime.
Agreed, but what I meant was like without delayed data, so they get more accurate results of how it is performing in real market.
We're talking about a paper trading kind of an environment.
Correct. Paper trading, yes.
Unfortunately, that is not available with us.
I mean, if we build our own virtual trading system, and we come to exchange for that approval.
Yeah, maybe Paramji, if you have a proposal, please approach us. We will be happy to talk to you. Incidentally, some years back, BSE had an algo test lab.
Right.
We didn't get users like you to actually use it, so we can discontinue.
Okay, got it, sir.
So
sure, sir. Who should I connect with if you can just give me a reference? So who can I connect with if you could just give me reference of someone where I can connect and
you can mail it to trade.app. We will send to the mail ID.
Okay.
And all the team members concerned are party to that. So we will touch base with you.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, welcome.
Okay, next is Inderpal Bediji. You may ask your query.
I have this query with respect to one of the query which was already discussed about the static IP. So suppose I have 100 clients, and for 100 clients, there will be requirement of 100 static IPs, which will be stored in the brokers. If it's generated algo, it will be stored in the server of the broker. Now, the static IP which will be pushed to the exchange, that should be of the broker or of the client. That is my question.
So the client static IP is required only in case of tech-savvy clients. When it is a broker strategy, a broker static IP will be required, and when it is a vendor strategy, vendor static IP will require.
Client can also provide broker or client, vendor or client. No? Yeah.
So it would be for if in case of broker generated algos, the static IP will be required of only the broker.
Yes.
Okay. And my next question is again, which is related to the point already discussed, is with respect to the IBT and STWT approval we already have. So you told that there will be an additional feature approval which needs to be required. Can you just repeat what exactly we will have to do in case we already have the IBT approval?
Yes. So for IBT and STWT approved platform, if you wish to provide the algos with IBT front end, then feature addition approval for your approved product is required to take. And once the feature addition is done, then you can again come for the strategy which will be used with the IBT and STWT front end.
Okay, and where would be this process mentioned, and which documentation I could refer to?
Yeah, so documentation and checklist is available on the website in section downloads, point number 1.9, trading operations.
We'll send you the link.
Yes, we will
Okay.
the link after the.
Okay, and there was one more point which I wanted to discuss, but this was not discussed as of now in the PPT, which is regarding the O authentication. Is it going to be discussed in the later part?
What about that?
Two-factor authentication. Just wanted to understand how it is going to be, put to the operation. Basic, I think, the basic IBT login.
Yes, so two-factor authentication, see basically whatever your IBT and SWT front end is there, of that front end the API is developed, right? So whenever your IBT and SWT platforms are logged in, then your two-factor authentication, which will extend to the API.
Can you please repeat?
Okay, so see, if your based IBT product is approved with the exchange, of which APIs are extended, right? So the two-factor authentication has to be done while on the IBT platform too, and while accessing these APIs, the two-factor authentication should be there.
Okay, understood.
What explain that table? Location ID. Yeah, Mr. Rizwan has a question.
Hi, can you hear me, guys?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Sir, the one question that I have is that all the orders that we pass on to the exchange, they carry their own algo indicators. Like, are they algo or are they non-algo? They do carry their indicators in the order itself. So now the question is that uh, why there is a restriction that this orders has to be passed on to these CTCL converted algo IDs only. Can't we pass these orders through any CTCL ID which is algo or non-algo? Is it possible? Because each and every order carries its own identity, whether it is algo or non-algo. So can it be passed on to any CTCL ID which is algo or non-algo? Is it possible, sir?
Getting up.
Because NSC is allowing that. Fortunately, whether the CTCL ID is algo or it non-algo doesn't matter, because each and every order that is being getting passed, they are carrying their own identity. All orders are carrying their own identity, whether they are algo or non-algo. Then why there is a restriction of to be passed through algo converted CTCL IDs only?
So as such, there is no restriction.
Yeah, as such, there is
The
no
trader ID which exchange provide you is on vendor level. So vendor and segment level, the trader IDs are allotted.
Right.
So once the trader IDs are activated, you have to do the dealer registration part, wherein the identifiers are tagged, and accordingly you can trade.
No, I think this is something which I just now came to know a couple of weeks back, that these orders have to be routed through algo CTCL converted IDs only, which means that if 123 is my CTCL ID, then it has to be converted to algo CTCL ID. Then only I can route algo orders through it.
So, sir, in BSE, we don't have any conversion mechanism. We have different set of trader IDs for exchange terminal and different set of trader IDs for non-exchange terminal. Okay, so when you come for a non-exchange terminal, the trader IDs are allotted on vendor and segment level. And the activation is done. Once the ID is allotted, whatever tagging means, whatever facility or whatever order type you have to tag is done in the dealer registration page.
Right.
So what I understand is, in other exchange, all the IDs are created as neat IDs. And if you want to use those IDs for using it in other trading softwares, then you have to convert it as non-neat IDs, and then you will be able to use those IDs in other softwares. So I think that conversion is required at other exchange. At BSE, whatever ETI IDs you are getting from exchange, you can use it across all the vendors' softwares.
Algo, non-algo, both.
Yeah, both.
Great. Okay, great. Because I came to know something else. Okay, thanks for clarification. Second question, sir, is that one practical problem is that all the AMO orders that are getting collected overnight, as per the circular, it says that it has to be routed to the exchange through a dealer ID only. Is this a restriction? Can be, what is the logic behind it? Because see, normally customers place their order and it is been placed as 111. And while placing the order to the exchange, we have to convert it into a dealer now. Location ID, NF location ID, I'm saying. So is this chances that it can consider as 111 as well, because the order was placed by the customer itself? You're getting my point, what I'm trying to say? All the AMO orders that are getting placed by the customer, or dealer also place the AMO orders, all these orders are being collected overnight, and next day morning when we are pumping it to the exchange, the document says that it has to be through dealer only.
So which document you are referring?
I think the document that you're sharing below that, just come below that. Yes.
Yeah. So here in for AMO, the tagging 14-digit tagging is 6, and the order type can be dealer based, IBT, DMA, and SCWT.
Okay. And for okay, sorry. And for RMS score of orders like 315 orders, 915 orders, that is through dealer only, right?
Yes. Right.
That is through dealer. That is through dealer. Okay. I think I don't have this document because this is what I wanted. 111 should be there. So I think this is the one. Yeah. Thank you so much. I got the answer.
Ridwan bhai, you can refer to the SOP that exchange has published.
Mm-hmm.
Section 2 of that SOP, all relevant no tags with respect to location ID, mode of trading, etc. have been clearly mentioned there. And in case you have any further question, you can approach us.
Great. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Chetna from VNS Finance, you may ask your query.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, so basically my question is regarding the algo registration itself. So like we have one strategy which we are providing through dealer terminal also and through IBT and STWT also. Okay, so same registration, one single registration will be sufficient, or we need to take three different kind of registration application we need to provide? How it will work?
So there will be two different registration will be required. Whatever strategy currently you are using with dealer and algo will be same. A new registration for IBT and SWT will be required.
So
Wherein
different two registration, IBT is for one and another for STWT. So
No.
two product write-up, RMS write-up will be required, or single will be okay.
See, ideally your IBT and STWT front end is different, correct?
Yes, correct.
You need to take
API will be same, but the front end will be different.
Okay, so API registration is required in this case, wherein the base platform is approved with the exchange, and after you can take the algo approval, wherein a unique algo ID, which is identifier with client direct API, will be provided.
So for this strategy, this dealer algo ID will be different, and for this retail, that is IBT and STWT, that algo ID will be different or the similar one?
No, it will be different.
It will be different. Okay. So here we need to take both two different registrations. One is for dealer and another is for IBT and STWT, which will be combined, right?
Yes.
Okay. And I have one more question. Like we have same API and the front end is different, which is given to our clients. So do we need to take different like registration or applications for each and every front end application, or the one will be okay?
No,
Single.
if the front end is not approved with the exchange, the front end approval is required.
So, and what will be the documents required for that?
Documentation for front end registration, it is already available on the website. After this session, we will share the link for the same.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Mr. Shiv Kumar, you may ask your query. Shiv Kumarji, you may unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
So I have a question. First of all, what do you mean by impaneled vendor, algo vendor? So where do I get the list?
It is available on the website.
No, but you have only front-end approved vendors list. There is no separate algo impaneled vendor list.
You are asking about algo providers.
Algo providers, yes.
Yeah, so algo providers are in process with the empanelment. Once they are approved, we will display the same on the website.
So my question depends on this. For example, we want to tie up with some other persons who are available in the market. For example, Tratron. We wanted to get an API registration done with the BSE or NSE, and we want to provide our clients with the algo which is there in the Tratron platform. So how do I come to exchange, and what is the process? I know there are certain documents, but what is the actual process? So I provide a API to the Tratron third-party platform, and I have to choose some of the algos which is registered there, and I have to come to the exchange for the registration. Is this the process?
which is otherwise the vendor management. Both ways are possible.
Yes, so this is a one-way process, or otherwise vendor will register with the exchange, and the same strategy member can register.
But you said in the initial stage that it is member-wise algo ID you will be providing. So if any vendor, algo vendor gets any algo, matlab he gets an approval of any algo, how do we, as a member, is it more than enough that the vendor gets an approval of that algo ID and we get the registration of only API done and we can run that algo in our platform? Is that okay? Or do we have to come separately to exchanges asking that this algo is already approved by exchange and we are giving this API and both should be approved by exchanges? Now, what is the process?
Once the vendor is registered with certain strategies of algo, then you can come with the API that we are providing to X client this kind of strategies. Then you have to come with a lesser paperwork, much lesser work, but you have to register separately.
Because strategies are routed through members.
See, in this case now, the algo provider, whatever they are coming with the strategy, are registered with the exchange. Exchange is not giving any algo ID to the vendors. Okay, only a vendor code will be allotted. So for using those strategy, member will again come to the exchange, but the paperwork will be less as compared to unregistered strategies. And once the strategies are registered, the unique algo ID will be provided to members.
Okay, it is always member-wise algo ID, right?
Yes, right, correct.
Okay, now coming to the third question. So once an empaneled vendor give us an algo ID and we provide them the API key, the client can opt for the algos. So when the client opts for the algo, now there are two processes. One is authentication. How the authentication works. So it says it has to log out every 24 hours, the API. Now, because the client goes to the algo empaneled vendors platforms and logins through Lemon. Once the algo is opted, the algo runs on the backend continuously. There is no requirement of login on everyday basis. So, what do you mean by open auth in this condition?
As the SEBI circular clearly says that all API is supposed to be logged out at the end of the day and logged in again the next day. So whatever you're doing at the time of first time login, you'll have to do it every day. So if you are having two-factor authentication, in fact, you should have two-factor authentication now, and all those checks and balances have to be put in place. So you cannot keep an API connected running throughout the night. That's what the SEBI circular implies.
But is it the same for the member built algo ID as well as vendor built algo ID? Both the products should fulfill this condition because
Irrespective of whether the API is provided by member or the vendor, as long as it falls under the purview of this domain of retail algo using client direct API, this regulation applies.
So it should always be two-factor authentication. For example, if the client has opted for algo and does not log in the morning by 9 o'clock, then no trades would be executed in his ID. That's right.
Yeah, so you should actually train the clients to log out and log in every day.
No, but if we are member, it is a member provided algo ID. Client comes and opts in, then client doesn't have to really log in on everyday basis because he has already opted for the algos, and algo generally runs on the backend because
Sir, I'm referring to the SEBI circular. I can understand what you're saying, what you have been doing all this while, but the SEBI circular I can, quote if you want to.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So page number, I'm referring to circular dated 4th of February 2025. It says brokers shall not permit open APIs and allow access only through unique vendor client specific API and static IP whitelisted by the broker to ensure identification and traceability of the algo provided and the end user, right?
Yes.
Where is that clause wherein it's supposed to log out and log in?
I believe that was there in the NSE circular, if I'm not wrong.
No, all the circulars between the exchanges are common. I'm looking for that one particular clause wherein says you're supposed to log out and log in. We will come back to that, but there is a clause which says either in our implementation standards or the SEBI circular. I'm not able to locate that, but implementation standard has that point.
So I believe that is for security purpose.
Okay. Here it is.
Okay.
In our implementation standard, API access standard for client in trading, point number 8 says all API sessions shall be compulsory logged out every day before the start of the next trading day. So we have published this implementation standard, I think, way back in
6th of May.
6th of May.
Okay. So if login does not happen, then trade should not happen.
Sir, login नहीं होगा तो order आएगा ही नहीं ना.
नहीं लेकिन algo opt कर लिया तो order आ भी सकता है backend में token create होगा तो I am just considering this point that if login does not happen, then ultimately trade should not happen, even though the client has opted for the algo strategy.
That hygiene with respect to the compliance part has to be maintained by all participants.
Okay.
With the EOD activity, they can log out the system.
Yeah. Idea is, in case you're keeping it logged in, any malfunction, any kind of hacking, something, whatever, anything can go wrong. Your relationship between the broker, the vendor, and the client, and then the exchange should not be tarnished or come under any kind of negative zone.
Yes, to have a proper security flow, we have a token concept where every 24 hours a fresh token is created. So even though if there is any case of hacking, then the next day hacker would not get the same view of the algo platform or the client's algo strategy which he has opted for. So
absolutely, we are open to all the suggestions. I suggest that if you can compile all the suggestions for improvement in this particular set of rules and regulations, I will be happy to consider every one of them.
Okay. Now, coming to the last question, one more question, please. There is a requirement that if we are going through some empaneled vendor, the BSE recent FAQ states that it should be hosted on broker's cloud, all the algo strategies.
We are not saying cloud specific.
No,
broker server.
So is it mandatory because the empaneled vendors, they host it on their cloud and they only provide the algos to the members. So if it is hosted on the empaneled vendors cloud, then as a member, I can provide API key, get the approval from exchange and run it, right? And serve it to the end customers. Is my understanding correct?
This regulation, as I said earlier, is meant for retail client algos using client direct APIs. For that particular purpose, the server in case has to be the broker server. So you may be using the cloud service with respect to other algos which are not participant to retail algo client direct API. So we cannot mix the two things. As I have been saying, do not mix up what you do for other set of clients with this retail algo client using client direct API.
No, this is also for retail. So for example, any algo product which is used by the retail clients, we are serving to the end retail client. Then is it if it is a inbuilt algo or from the empaneled vendors? If it is from the empaneled vendor, they host it in their cloud. So they don't give the algo to the member. Now, there will be a difficulty in getting approvals from exchanges because we can only get the API approval. We cannot get the algos strategies from the empaneled vendors and get it approved from the exchange or host it in our cloud. It is very difficult.
Okay, we'll take note of that. We'll come back to you.
Okay. I think I'm done with my questions, but is there any platform I can put on all my questions? So
I would suggest if you can coordinate with all the members and provide us with the list of all the questions and the members' name. We can do it in one shot across the board.
Okay, so all the members can send the queries to our email ID, that is events@brokersforumofIndia.com. So we'll consolidate all the questions and send it to the respective team. Also, sir, if you have any email ID or something, you can always share it, please.
Can you repeat the email ID, please? Events.
I put it in the chat box. It's events, EVENTS @brokersforumofindia.com.
Eunice, we have one more chapter to this presentation wherein we wanted to showcase the kill switch facility that exchange has released.
Okay. So we are currently having around a couple of 5 to 6 more questions also. So if you want to cover before starting that other segment or whatever you say, sir.
Okay, take the questions. No problem.
Okay. So the next question is from Sumit Agarwalji. You may unmute yourself.
Hello, sir. This is Sumit Agrawal from SBI Securities. So I have just one question. Suppose a member doesn't have an algo product through API, and currently there are 0 clients trading algo. Then it is obvious that as per the SEBI circular, that a member won't be able to adhere to the 3 milestones which are given in the SEBI circular. So does this mean that this particular member will be barred from onboarding new retail clients as well? Because that's what has been mentioned in the SEBI circular in point number 5. So,
No, but are you using retail algos? Are you providing algo services to retail client through APIs?
Not yet.
तो आपका वैलिडिटी नहीं है ना इसमें, फिर आपको नहीं आएंगे इसमें.
Yes, so
but then we will be coming up with the algo products, let's say in February, March, or April, or something like that. But then at that time, does this mean that we will be barred from onboarding?
No. If, in fact, that is the reason why we have asked for how many clients are you providing with retail services, retail algo services as on September 30th. तो वो अगर information अभी आप हमको दे दें, तो we will know that you don't have any clients in that particular category. So when you come in February or March for this kind of an application, it will be entertaining. So I urge you to send that document as soon as possible to us.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Thank you very much for that clarity.
Okay, Mr. Udayan, you may ask your query.
Yes. So I, being an authorized person, can I simultaneously be an algo provider as well or not?
Authorized person, yeah. I mean, if you have, I mean, is there any compliance regulation?
With a broker. Like I'm associated with a broker.
See, are you providing any black box algos?
Yes. Yes, I plan to.
Yes. So if you are providing any black box algo, so the registration for algo provider and RA is mandate.
You're supposed to take research analyst registration with the exchange.
Yes, but it wouldn't generate any conflict, correct? This is what I want to ask. Like I, being an authorized person, I give the exam, I get the certificate, I register for the black box, but I want to stay as an authorized person associated with a broker, and I also want to generate algo for some of my clients with black box algos, basically.
The regulation says that if you're providing black box services to the client, then you are supposed to be a research analyst registered with the exchange. Now, with respect to AP, there is no specific concession given. So I am assuming that if you're providing black box services, please take RA registration with the exchange.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Next question is from Dhawalji, Dhawal Harania. You may ask your query.
Yes, hi. Can you help us understand the difference between client direct API registration, product registration, and UI registration?
Difference between UI registration and product registration.
Yeah. So API registration is the registration of API whichever you are giving to your end clients. Okay, so it might be of approved. Okay, so it can be of your approved front end or a member front end which is not registered with the exchange. Front end registration is normal front end registration what we do currently. But it is for those which are not registered with the exchange and the API of that content is being extended to the end clients. So this is the basic difference between your front end and API registration.
Okay, so if we, let's say example, if we plan to give only the direct client direct API to the tech savvy users, in that case, we don't need to register it as a product. We just need to register it as a client direct API with the exchange.
Can you be little loud?
सर आपके बैकग्राउंड में बहुत नॉइज आ रही है.
Hello, I'm saying if we just want to offer the
बैकग्राउंड में बहुत नॉइज है.
Dhavalji, you may do one thing. You can put your question in a chat box. I'll read it out.
In the meanwhile, we can take the question from Madam Kiran.
Yeah, Kiranji, please unmute yourself to ask a query.
Yeah, hi, good evening, sir. My name is Kiran Sarvi. So basically, I have one question only. See, as a broker, is there any compulsion to provide the number of API, right, and number of API to any client, either is a algo or is a non-algo?
ऐसा कुछ नहीं. Number of restriction, number of APIs you're saying?
Yes, number of API.
You have to take registration with the exchange.
Okay.
You can have multiple APIs.
Okay.
But those APIs should be registered.
All of them have to be registered with the exchange.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Right.
Next, Gunasilan user, you may ask your query.
Yeah, I think you can hear me.
Yes.
So I have a couple of questions. So one is if client places a COB order from API. Okay, so anyway, so you will get the algo approval and we'll give the algo ID to him. So the first leg, so he will tag his algo ID. But for other legs, so should we tag the algo IDs which we got from exchange, so trading member?
Can you repeat the question?
Okay, so if tech-savvy clients opted to place some COBO order through API, so he will apply it as a strategy and he will get some algo IDs. So whenever he places the COBO order from API, so he will tag his algo ID for the first leg, right? So for remaining legs, so should we tag the algo IDs which we got from the exchange as a trading member?
I didn't understand the question.
So in this case, you are talking about the strategy of cover order and bracket order, right?
Correct. So if client take a strategy approval, okay, for COB order, so like 3 legs will be executed, right? So for the first leg, he will pass the algo ID which he got approval, right? So for other 2 legs, as a broker, what algo ID we should tag for stop loss and target?
Cover order and bracket order strategy will be a single strategy, right?
Okay.
No, if you are taking the approval for cover order and bracket order in a single strategy, this logic is built together.
Okay.
The single algo ID will be provided by the exchange, right?
Right.
Whatever how the strategy is going to run, the same unique algo ID should be tagged for those strategies.
Okay, even for all the other 2 legs.
Yes.
So for the point is the other 2 legs are triggering by our RMS system only, right? So it's triggered by us only.
No, I
He's talking about RMS square.
Are you talking about?
Yes.
It's basically our own algorithm, right? Other 2 legs. So whenever client opted to place some COB order, our algorithm will trigger other 2 legs. logically.
But the other two legs are triggered by your RMS system.
Yes, correct.
They have to be flagged as RMS.
It will be a square of order, right?
So mode of trading में जाओ.
No, it's one is stop loss and one is trigger target.
It's not really an RMS order, no? It's a part of the strategy. It is not an RMS order then. RMS square of orders are different from the type of orders that you're talking about. You have to make it a strategy for the registration.
Hello. Yeah, so the client strategy initiates the first leg.
Yeah.
So the which will come into our OMS and get into exchange, and we have an internal strategy for the bracket order specifically to initiate the target order and stop loss order once the first leg is confirmed
Strategies
or
you're running.
executed. Yes,
So
that is the internal strategy. As a member, we are providing that order feature.
you take approval of all the strategies individually with the exchange.
We already have the approval for cover order and bracket order with exchange.
So this cover order and bracket order which you are running at your end, you're not providing to the client, right? Through APIs.
Yes, that's the question. Can we provide that to API through API? Today we are providing it through mobile app and web application.
Sir, the question is, if you are running it first time, and the first part of the question you said that client pushes an order on the first leg. So on the first leg, if it is coming through an API, you are anyway supposed to get the registration done with the exchange. Then you had said in third leg, you're running internally at your end, you're not providing to the client. So if you have already taken approval for second and third leg, that is your strategy which doesn't fall with the purview because you're not providing that service through API to the client. But if you're providing these strategies, second and third strategies also to the retail client through API, then they become part of this particular regulation and they are supposed to be taken approval for.
Yeah, that is clear, sir. So today we are sending, let's say I'm having an algo ID 123 for my existing bracket order. So whenever the client places a bracket order through mobile or web, we tag that algo ID for all three legs. Okay. Tomorrow the first leg will be triggered by the client through an API. So we will have, for example, if it is a tech savvy client placing less than 10 order per second, we will place a 999 for the first leg, and the subsequent synthetic orders like the target and stop loss. We will have our other algo ID 1234, which we already got it from you.
Perfect.
Perfect, na? Okay.
Right. Any more?
Yeah. Is there any IP whitelisting process for the tech savvy client at the exchange level? Like today we receive the IP address as part of the algo API key registration process. The static IP we collect from the client for tech savvy client, and back to back, do we have a process to register that with the exchange? I know there is a process to register the client ID or the UCC who are planning to be a tech savvy client. But as part of that, do we have a process to register the
In this
static
case,
IP?
I would draw an analogy with respect to what you do for internet trading. So, as a broker, when you allow internet trading to your client, they're all over the place, right? So you adopt the same strategy because in the circulars and the regulations and the SOPs, we have not mentioned anything with respect to IP whitelisting by the exchange.
Correct.
Right. So that due diligence has to be done at the broker level.
Okay. So that restriction have to be at our level only. Okay.
Whatever you do for IBT clients, I suggest you follow the same process.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. That's all. Thank you.
Okay. Next question is from Mirai Asset Chintanji. You may unmute yourself.
Hi, this is Chintan here. I have a couple of questions. One was regarding a static IP. Suppose I have a couple of users who are sitting in the same office. Now they are not. So there was one point regarding a family member can share the static IP. But if the users who are sitting in the same office, the public IP for those same users will be same, which will be their gateway IP, which will be coming to us. So will the order, I have to restrict the order? Suppose say one of the users in that particular office is registered with broker. Now, second user is trying to place an order with that same gateway ID. Will that be blocked?
Different clients cannot share the same static IP.
Correct, but static IP, it's a public static IP, right? Suppose it's a router in an office which has been shared by 5 or 6 employees. Now, one has registered that router's public static IP with me as a user. Now, second user in the office is also trying to place. He's also API user and is trying to place the trades with me. Should I block that user's trades and tell them that this static IP is registered with some of other customers?
You're saying that all of these guys who are in your office, they are not your employees, but your clients who are trading from your. Hello.
Yeah. I'm saying not from my office. Even in my office also, I may not be supposed for say internal employees also, if they are supposed say doing the testing of the APIs. This one scenario for internal customers as well. Maybe external customers also I was talking initially, but internally, suppose say if I'm doing API trades for testing purpose also, or doing some debugging or live debugging or something in those cases as well, the IPs which will be going will be my NAT gateway's IP. So in that case, all the orders, should I block it? I should not be processing any of the orders if it is coming.
I would suggest that if each individual source of the order is unique and they are different clients, then you better keep separate static IPs to be on the safer side of the regulation.
Okay, so I should block the orders, right? If suppose say one user is registered that static IP with me, now second user is coming with the same static IP and trying to place an order, what should I do? I should block that, right?
Yeah, you can. But anyway, we take note of this particular point, considering the fact that your clients are sitting in your office.
Correct.
Right. We'll take note of it, but as per the current regulations, I would suggest that you please have separate static IPs for each of the clients.
Yeah, currently we'll block it and we'll ask the customers to say that this already this static IP is taken. You take a separate static ID and come with a separate static IP for order placement to us.
We have taken note of your point. I would suggest that you also send it to Eunice on your ID so that it becomes part of the document that you are supposed to be sending.
Okay. Also, one more point was regarding, suppose say there are multiple there was point mentioned that there is a TPS which has been given like less than 10 order per second and greater than 10 order per second. So is the definition says that I am below 10 order per second, that are also considered as a algo order if it is via our client direct APIs?
For tech-savvy client, if OPS is more than 10, then it becomes part of the algo.
If it is less than 10, it is not algo, right?
Yeah, it is not that. I mean, I'm saying
an
only for
algo.
tech-savvy.
It is an algo, but
registration is not
it's
required.
not required. Whatever tagging.
I have to pass the algo IDS 5 times 9, right?
16 times 9.
All nines.
All nine.
All lines. Okay. Now coming to this particular question, extending this question further. Suppose say now I have provided these APIs to third-party providers who are like example. I'll just take one of the name as TradingView. Suppose say I've integrated my APIs in TradingView or multiple such providers who are providing order placement facility. Now they can give the facility to their customers to have less than 10 or more than 10, which I cannot control. So how do this particular case will come under the circular, right? They will be passing the orders. If they are, I will be anyways blocking the orders and I will be having a restrictions at a broker level of less than 10. They can pump. But for all those orders also less than 10, which I'll be considering through my APIs, I'll be passing you 999 for all those third party empaneled vendors as well, right?
Yes.
Okay. And if it goes beyond 10, I have to ask them to take a algo registration process along via broker with exchange, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And there was one more point that this all third party who are even not even algo, like not pushing the orders more than 10 orders. I have taken a name as well, a trading view. Should a trading view also platform has to be hosted on brokers premise?
Broker server.
Yeah, broker server. So one point was like all those empanel vendors of algo, but the point was mentioned clearly in the circular, it is algo, but this is not algo, right? These are all third party UI front ends through which the orders are, the customers are trading, and they have integrated our APIs in the platform.
Algo strategy is supposed to be running at the broker end.
So, but
Okay,
here only the algo strategies has to be get registered if they are beyond 10 rupees.
so beyond 10, we have to host it in brokers premises, not less than 10, right?
Both should be hosted on broker server.
No,
the registration.
if it is an algo, yeah.
If it is algo, both should be hosted on broker server. Only the registration part is not required for below 10 rupees.
Now there is an ambiguity here. You are saying all the orders which are coming via APIs are considered as algo, right? Now the order placed from a TradingView platform or XYZ platform is also placed on placed through my APIs only. So that will be considered as algo, whether it's less than 10 TPS. So that as per that circular, the TradingView platform or XYZ platform should be hosted on broker's premise, but it's not possible to host all the platforms in broker premise, right? Am I clear with my question?
Yeah, just a minute. We're just deliberating on this.
Are you trying to say that if a client trades on TradingView using broker API, but they execute the trade which are without automated trades, right? Means those are non-algo, right?
But see, I cannot control now because that's a contradictory point which I wanted to highlight. Now you're saying I am exposed my APIs to TradingView. Now I can only have a control that I can restrict the users to say less than 10. If it is the orders are going beyond 10, I can restrict and say go for algo permissions. But if it is beyond 10, it can via some automated strategy that platform can pump the users can pump, or it could be manual as well. That something won't be controlled by me, right?
That is the understanding that you need to have with the participant concerned. Since, and by the way, this 10 number is meant only for tech-savvy clients,
yes.
not generic.
Okay. So for all those AMP-panel vendor, there is no TPS restrictions, right?
Yes.
Only for tech-savvy client, we have this concession given that if it is less than 10, registration is not required.
For all those, this TradingView and all those kind of partners, we have to get the registrations done.
In fact, that's what I said. If you have a partner like TradingView, then it's better that you clearly identify what is the SOP, what exactly are the functionalities that you are going to allow, not allow.
Okay.
Become an SRO at the broker level itself, so that tomorrow when the exchange asks you a question, you are not caught, unaware. So you better have all your regulations with the vendor clearly defined as part of SLA, as part of agreement, whatever documentation you may be having. The whole purpose behind this entire activity is to have clear-cut defined SLAs, SOPs between all parties concerned. And that's why exchanges have also released SOP accordingly.
Yeah.
So we would like to have broker, algo provider, client also to do the same thing.
Okay. So the hosting is not mandatory to have it in ARP. That still remains, the point remains open for me. And because TradingView will not host their platform in broker's premise, right? Or any other algo provider will not host their platform in broker's premise.
Strategies have to run on the brokers. That's what we are saying, right?
Okay.
The strategy has to be run through.
Any more questions, Yunus bhai?
So there are 3 more questions last.
Okay, we'll take those 3 questions, and I suggest that subsequent question you can send it over email, and we can have one-to-one discussion with the guys concerned, or we can reply it on email, and we can have a group session done on that later on. 3 more questions we'll take.
Yeah. Okay, so next, Mr. Naresh, you may ask your query.
Hi. So my question related to cloud hosting only. So in case of retail tech-savvy client less than 10 OPS, static IP should be paused from the client side. So can broker provide a facility to run tech-savvy clients less than 10 order per second? His strategies from the cloud. So can broker provide a facility to run this user strategy from the broker infra? And if it is yes, then which static IP needs to be paused? And so one common static IP will be paused for multiple clients. Is that okay?
No, see, a static IP can't be common across the means for multiple clients. It has to be different.
Those answered actually. That's what we just answered to Mr. Mr. Chintan.
Naresh, actually, so this is hosted in the broker infra only.
Yeah, let it be it can't be the static IP cannot be common for all the
Okay.
for all the users.
So individually, if it is hosted in the broker infra, individually static IP we can't provide to individual users, right?
Oh, sir, we just answered that question to the previous gentleman that it is better at this point in time that you take static IPs separate for each of the clients. And I have also asked Mr. Chintan to send it as a question, though we have taken note of it, so that it becomes part of the document. And in case there is any concession required to be given, we can have a deliberation done on that. But at this point in time, we will have to stand by separate static IPs for each client.
Yeah. So here I just want to highlight one thing. So static IP of client is required only in text-heavy cases. When the strategies of vendor, the vendor static IP is required. When the strategy is of broker, broker static IP will be required.
Correct.
So Yunus, maybe request all our members to send your queries, whatever suggestions, feedback they have in the chat box and on the email ID shared by you, so that you can share the consolidated list of queries with us, and we may then get in touch with the respective members and clear their doubts.
Yeah, sure, sir. I have already shared the email ID to all the participants, and they can where they can send all the queries. So I'll keep you posted. If we receive any query or any questions by tomorrow or by Monday, I'll consolidate everything and I'll keep you posted.
Okay. Any more questions?
Sir, questions keeps on coming actually. So what I suggest is with all the members, they can send the queries on the further queries on the email, and then we can take it forward.
Yeah, correct.
Because few more questions have come, and I believe it will keep on coming. So it is up to us. Like if the members can send us the queries over the email, that will be more better clarification over the mail.
We would request all the members to go through the circulars, understand, have an insight, and then send in a query.
Pooja, if we have
Okay.
that's covered.
Yes, this last.
I think this is what we wanted to actually talk about from our side. Yunus?
Okay. Okay, so we conclude the today's webinar. So first of all, on behalf of the Bombay Stock Exchange Brokers Forum, we are truly grateful and we truly appreciate the efforts and the basically insights given by the BSE Business Operations team. So thank you so much, Pooja ma'am and the entire team for your valuable time and your insights and patiently listening all the queries of our members. So thank you very much, and we also appreciate the participation from all our members. We got over 200 people joined the webinar today. So thank you so much, everyone, and we look forward to your queries, and we will escalate all your queries to the BSE team, and we will be in touch shortly.
On behalf of BSE, I would like to thank Yunus for coordinating this particular session and all the members for participating. We look forward to your questions, and we will try to solve as many of them as possible as quickly as possible.
Yeah. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a great weekend. Thank you.